Hello, my friend. In this video, I wanted to share what I think 2022 is going to look like for musicians trying to do marketing, trying to make their music pop off, whether it be Spotify or just trying to grow a fan base, any of that kind of stuff. I want to give you some insight into what I think the world is kind of going to look like in this coming year. So, there's a couple different things, and the first thing that I really want to start off with is the idea of Patreons and memberships. So the reason that I think this is going to be so important is because, and this is kind of a general theme of what I think is going on with 2022 in the world of music marketing, is that there's going to be a lot of moving towards ownership. One thing that you'll see a lot in like Web3 with like NFTs and that kind of stuff, there's a lot of ownership, and I think it's important for artists to be moving towards kind of owning their fan base, as weird as that is to say, but I think it's very important. For example, I think a big thing is, you may have heard this before as well, is when you're on, say, Instagram or TikTok, Spotify, any of these platforms, it's kind of almost like you're renting space there, and you're beholden to them. If they change any of the rules, you're completely screwed and you have to adjust. If they want to start running ads on their platform and start minimizing the organic reach, then you have to start paying for ads, or just deal with the fact that your posts are now reaching less people than they were before. The idea of a Patreon or a membership, I think one of the main key things is, obviously you can start making a bit of money from it and that kind of stuff, and have some recurring monthly revenue that you can use for ads or music gear and that kind of stuff. But I think the more important thing is that you're kind of limiting that third party connection to your fans, so you can reach them directly. If you have a new song coming out, you can tell them directly that the song is out instead of having to run Facebook ads to bring them over to the song. If you have a new post coming out, you can send them a link to the post instead of hoping that the algorithm on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it may be will show it to them. If, say, for example, and it's a pattern, it always happens, say if people start moving off of Instagram to TikTok, instead of having to ask people on Instagram to move over to TikTok, you own the fan base, you can speak to them directly, and you can instantly move them over to TikTok. When TikTok fades, which it inevitably will, and a new platform emerges, you'll be able to still have the people that like your music and like you, and you'll be able to direct them in any new direction. I think that's really important, and I think that's really where things are going to be moving towards, and I think that at least where things should be moving towards. Kind of ownership, Patreon stuff, and memberships is really a great way that could be happening. And it's kind of spoiler alert, this is somewhere I want to take this channel in the new year as well. If you've been here for a while, you probably know that I've kind of conquered the Spotify algorithm to the point where I'm now teaching it. So next, what I really want to do is focusing on figuring out how to conquer Patreon and memberships, how artists like myself can actually have that community and that fan base, and that way you kind of own that, and you can have a closer connection to your fans, and I think it'll help you kind of deal with how the marketing and music kind of landscape changes over time. It gives you a more defensible position, and I think that's really what I want in my music career, and I think that's really important in other people's music careers, so that's definitely something I want to start teaching, and I think that will be very important in 2022. And moving on to that, I think another big thing that we'll see in 2022 is like the idea of like NFTs and ownership in the digital space. And I think what's interesting about this in music in particular, I think NFTs in other industries, like I'm kind of watching how it's being perceived in the gaming space, and it's getting destroyed over there. But I think in music, it has a potential for it to be a bit different and a bit more powerful, because as opposed to, say, purchasing an NFT so you have a unique thing in a game or something like that, NFT can also be a way for artists, or rather fans, to support artists that they love in a way. And also I think it could be an interesting way to kind of replace the old traditional having like a vinyl record collection or a CD collection. Back in the day, it was very common for just normal music fans to have huge vinyl collections, and they may throw it on the actual vinyl player and listen to it every now and then, but almost it was a thing of showing like pride and like, I've directly supported this artist, look at all the different vinyls I have, this is a great one, I picked it up here, I picked it up here, there, that kind of thing. And that's kind of like a collector mindset, and I think that's still very much a thing in music, and NFTs can be a way to pave the way forward to that in a digital way. Maybe it'll be something like having an NFT like library digital collection, or it could even be brought into the physical world in a way where there might be like maybe some kind of like digital picture frame where you can kind of see all the NFTs of albums that you've supported and have collected. And I think obviously this there's that whole screenshot thing where you can obviously take a screenshot of any NFT. But I think in the world of like music collecting, that would not be so cool. It'd be like the equivalent of having, say, like a burnt CD and saying like, look at my burnt CD collection with like Sharpie written on it, like Pink Floyd The Wall or whatever, right? Like, it shows that you like the music, but it maybe doesn't show that you're as much of a hardcore fan if you're just kind of stealing the music from them. Whereas I think having, say, an NFT collection is a lot more similar to actually owning real vinyl, because it shows that you directly supported the artist, that you have a big enough connection to them, that you purchase something, that you, maybe it's one of a kind or whatever it is, but it shows that you actually do own it and that you do actually support the artist. And I think this could be even more powerful for smaller artists like us, where I think that might be a bigger factor, where people are going to be listening to us and wanting to support us because we're smaller and we're trying to grow up. And NFTs is a way to show like, hey, I supported this artist when they were starting out. Like, obviously I have an NFT for like Pink Floyd and Drake and this and that or whatever, but also I have this indie artist NFT, and like when I first got it, they were here and I've directly supported them with this NFT, and now they're at this point. So I think that could be really cool from a fan perspective, particularly in music. And then moving forward from that, again, NFTs from like an artist perspective, it again kind of deals with that problem of ownership that I think is going to start course correcting in the next couple of years, and I think that's going to really start to show in 2022, where it's going to be moving away from things where it's like no ownership, things like the value of music has been plummeted down to nothing because of MP3s and downloading MP3s, and then again plummeted down to nothing because of streaming, stuff that could be easily reproduced. But NFTs allows a way for these digital things like music to have value again, which could be very interesting. On top of that, again, it's a money generating thing for artists, which I think is a point, but it's not really the main point. But also I think it's a way for artists to deal with kind of the troubles of fulfilling and offering products that are physical. So if you're at the point, or if you ever have considered, say, selling merch or selling CDs or anything like that, as an artist, as a smaller artist, it can be very, very complicated. You have to deal with shipping and manufacturing them. You can do things like print on demand for, like, say, a t-shirt or something, but then the costs get higher and it's very hard to kind of deal with that. It also could be a little bit harder to kind of test out things that may or may not work. I think it's very useful for an artist to be able to make a living selling things digitally. It's just a lot easier to sell. It's a lot easier to troubleshoot, say, if they want to return something, you can just do it like that. Like, imagine if you spent all the time and effort to make a t-shirt, print 100 of them, send them to someone, and they don't like it, or they want a different size and they want to return it. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's very, very difficult. I think NFTs could present a way to be able to sell merch in a way and do it digitally, which is a lot easier for an indie artist to kind of go about. So I think NFTs could be very, very cool. And I think, again, coming at from the perspective of where it can help artists in ways that's not just about money, and also having that main perspective of how this could actually help fans and how it could be something useful to them, as opposed to some kind of money-making scheme for artists in the new year. And then lastly, one thing that I kind of want to dig into is, like, hopefully this isn't too much of a controversial opinion, but I do not think that 2022 is going to be the year of things like TikTok or Instagram, anything like that. Obviously, these things will still be kind of useful to use. I'm already starting to hear, like, TikTok, for example, anybody that had success on TikTok, they may say something along the lines of, yes, TikTok is great, jump on it. It's not as great as it used to be, but it's still great. And that is just kind of the nature of these things. It's not like I'm hating on TikTok. I'm almost hating on any of these kind of like micro community social media platforms. This is how it always happens. Like, TikTok has ads. TikTok is going to slowly start to want to make money off of the platform, and they're going to start limiting the organic reach. So the chance of you getting viral on TikTok or anything like that, it's going to become lowered, as they're going to start pushing people to pay for ads on TikTok to get that reach that they want. It happened to Facebook, then it happened to Instagram, and it's inevitable that it's going to happen to TikTok as well. And that's just how these things work. And in addition to that, obviously there's like the limited reach, which will inevitably happen. It's probably already starting to happen now, but also these platforms, and when you only use these platforms, I'm not a big fan of it because it just feels like it's running on a hamster wheel. You're constantly spending all this time and effort creating video content and whatever, putting that out. It's very challenging to do that. I've done it for years and it's very hard, and sometimes a post works and sometimes the post doesn't work, and the effort that goes into it just really doesn't seem worth it. Particularly if you're posting on, say, TikTok for TikTok's sake, or even if you're posting on TikTok to land a viral hit so that you get a lot of streams on Spotify, that's moving from one hamster wheel to the other hamster wheel. And I think it gives you like a spark of some kind of success, and it could have long-term effects where it can kind of increase your credibility, stuff like that. But ultimately, I think if you're missing a component like ownership, whether it be NFTs or even better, having your own community with a membership or whatever it may be, then at least that way, anytime you pop off on TikTok or Instagram or anything like that, it has more meaning because you could be moving people over to a platform where you actually have some ownership. But running TikTok for the sake of TikTok's sake, Instagram for the sake of Instagram's sake, I think that's going to be continually becoming less and less effective. And I think that a broader picture needs to be done here. I think these things will still be useful to kind of get traffic and get people some attention over your music. But if you don't have like the bigger picture in play, I think that it's not going to be worth it. And that's just how things are going to go. It's happened time and time again. MySpace to Facebook, Instagram to TikTok. There'll be another one. And again, by having your own Patreon or membership or community, you can weather these storms a lot better because you have always ownership of that community, and you can be like, hey, Zimzam is next, TikTok is out, let's all move over there, and you have the power to do that. And that's kind of how the way I'm seeing things. I think this is going to kind of start shifting in 2022. So hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you want to stay in tune with how I'm going to be teaching new things in the new year, definitely like and subscribe. That's definitely one way. Thanks for watching. Good luck in your next release, and I'll see you in the next video, my friend. Have a good one.